Okay. Cameras are good. Cameras are good. Okay. Welcome everyone to another episode of PEWTER.halfpints. I'm Jason. Again, this is my older brother Dave. We are your hosts, and we are here to drink beer and talk a little bit of shop. And our shop is construction, more specifically, the home renovation industry. On our last episode, we talked about different types of hardwood. You got your solid, your engineered, and your laminates. And today, I think we should talk about how to choose an engineered hardwood.
Yeah, so you've decided engineered's the way you want to go, and you're looking at a $5 per square foot laminate, and you're looking at a $15 per square foot laminate, and you're wondering what the hell the difference is.
Gee willikers, Batman.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
So, what is the difference? Let's start at construction underneath. So, a cheaper engineered hardwood floor is going to be composed of scrap pieces of wood. So, the piece underneath, the construction underneath is going to be made up of solid hardwood pieces, whereas a higher end floor is going to be made with plywood. So that's the number one marker. When you look at the bottom of the board, you want to be able to see plywood underneath it.
Yeah.
Because the plywood is going to resist the expansion and contraction.
Yeah.
Right? Number one, you're going to look at that. You're going to look to see the more layers of plywood that are actually assembled underneath, the better. So all plywood is composed of multiple layers of wood. The really, really good stuff is literally one layer of plywood, like 1/4-inch plywood running one direction, and then the next layer is plywood running the opposite direction. And that is the stuff that has the really high humidity range, the 20% to 80% humidity range. The cheaper products, you'll notice if you look at the box, it's only good for 40 to 50% relative humidity. And that is the exact same range as a solid hardwood floor. So you're buying an engineered product with the intention of getting a superior product, but it's the exact same. You're not getting any better properties, and you're not gaining the benefits of what an engineered floor is supposed to give you. So a cheaper engineered floor is literally, the top is one thing, right? That top layer is one thing, but what makes it cheaper is the composition of the boards underneath. And we have 3 examples here today to show you. So the first one is, if you look at it, you can see that there's solid chunks of wood running in each direction. So you have slats running the length of the board, and then the middle section is running opposite. And then you have your finish layer glued on top. The second is solid chunks, but they've been engineered a little bit differently, how you have 2 side rails, and this is a wider plank. This is an 8-inch plank, but they have 2 side rails and then solid slats in the middle. And this one I've actually noticed, like you can see this board, it has cupping on it already, and it's just been sitting in our office as a sample. So that's a floor. Like these things should all be glued down because they are a wide plank, but that one in particular.
So I guess it just goes to show that a cheaper engineered plank can actually cup and warp on you.
Yeah. So it's kind of defeating the purpose.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And then you go to the high end. This is a very expensive floor, and it's literally just made of one sheet of plywood.
Which is funny because you would think that plywood would make it cheaper, but plywood isn't cheap.
No, it's expensive.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
And they also have to take a little bit of care, ensuring that they're using the right glues and epoxies inside to make sure that the tongues are strong enough to withstand installation, because it's not easy on these tongues.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than picking out a piece of plywood or a piece of hardwood and the tongue's ripped off.
Yeah.
Waste of $30 right there.
So you're going to want to look at that. And then the other thing that you're going to look at is the finishes on the top. So in our three examples, you can see, the cheaper one with the wood slats, the 8-inch wide plank with the wood slats, has a pretty smooth finish on the top and very lightly wire brushed out. So any of the softer components on that wood plank has been scraped out through a wire brush method. And then our middle grade, again, definitely a different look, way more rustic looking, but it has a deeper wire brush. It's more thoroughly been brushed out. And then if you look at the premium product with the plywood underneath, that one has actual hand scraping, and so you can really see the difference that way. So that's, this is wire brushed, it's hand scraped, it's been beaten with chains and whatever. It has these odd discolored little pieces on it, and that's all process, that's all labor, that all costs money.
Okay, so being, yes, the underlying composition of this wood will affect the price, but what other factors would make or would affect the price of an engineered hardwood?
So, you have the species of wood. Something that's more rare is going to obviously cost more, or more desirable.
Yeah.
We've all seen that. The better something looks, the more they charge for it, regardless. But there's that, and then there's also the clarity of the wood, where if you want a nice, smooth finish on top, no knots, a clear wood, that's going to be more expensive than a character grade product that has knots and imperfections in the wood, right? So the more character that's in the board, the cheaper it will be relative to the clear product. But if you're going to have character grade, you may as well go into something that's really roughed up and gives you that rustic look. And then, if your kid drops something on the floor and there's a dent in it,
you don't notice
it's right next to another dent. So color it in with a marker and off you go. Right? So
yeah, definitely.
Then you start to get a little bit of some added value, I would say, right? Where if you have that clean, perfect surface of hardwood floor and you drop something on it, it stands out like a sore thumb. So I think you do get more value with a properly hand scraped product for that reason. So I think that about sums it up.
So I guess that's it. Again, my name is Jason. This is Dave. This is PEWTER.halfpints. We are PEWTER.build on Instagram, and our website is www.pewter.build. Check us out, and stay safe, everyone.
Cheers.